On the night of January 6, 2010, within 62 seconds, three men, Anwar Mohammed, Mohammed Warfa, and Osman Elmi, were murdered at the Seward Halal Market in South Minneapolis during a botched robbery. The killings were captured on surveillance videos inside the market, although the two suspects were wearing masks. Mahdi Ali was charged with being the shooter, convicted, and sentenced to 3 consecutive 30-year sentences, despite the U.S. Supreme Court ruling that life sentences for juveniles amount to cruel and unusual punishment. Mahdi's background. Mahdi Ali, born in a Kenyan refugee camp, was trafficked to the United States at age 9 and abandoned in Minneapolis. After fleeing group homes, he attended Sanford Middle School, where he first learned English, and later Roosevelt and South High School in Minneapolis. Mahdi was 15 when he was arrested for the murders at Seward Halal Market and ultimately convicted in 2011 based on flawed evidence and false testimonies, including recanted statements by the convicted accomplice. Mahdi is currently serving life without parole. Justice has not been served in these murders. Flaws in the case. 1. Unreliable witnesses. The state's witnesses that testified against Mahdi all had something to gain. Abdisan Ali was one of the 2 original suspects, and Abdisan Ali's cousin, Ahmed Ali, the accomplice, who was coerced by authorities to blame Mahdi. There was also a paid police informant and a jailhouse snitch. Abdisan Ali appeared to receive a secret deal from police, though his alibi was full of lies and only supported by his mother. Ahmed Ali was coerced by authorities and faced 6 counts of murder before he pointed the finger at Mahdi. He was granted reduced charges, and he served 12 years for his role in the January 6 killings. Evidence points to another killer. Abdisalan was never charged, despite video surveillance of the killer wearing his coat during the murders and knowing details of the crimes before they were public based on his testimony given to police. Abdisalan Ali bragged about killing people online the day after Mahdi was convicted in 2011. His Twitter account, which is still available, is online. It is Ali_705, and he tweeted on September 24th, 2011 at 10:48 p.m. "What's your body count? N-word." In statements given to police, classmates reported that Abdi Salan admitted to killing the 3 people in the market and wanted to frame Mahdi, and threatened to kill Mahdi in order to protect himself and his cousin Ahmed. Ahmed Ali, Abdi Salan's cousin, recanted his testimony and stated that Mahdi is innocent. This was filmed live. Audio recording with obscured video recording shows Ahmed in prison recanting his testimony. To quote him, "I feel guilty about that because I was protecting somebody else, and he, Mahdi, ended up taking the fall for something he didn't end up doing." He goes on to say, "I was young at the time. I had a lot of people in my ear, like close family friends to me, closer than Mahdi was at the time. He ended up becoming the scapegoat, I guess." I've since learned from talking to Mahdi directly over the past several months that a lot of what he believes is led to his being framed was tribalism within the Somali community. Continuing on the flaws in the case, there was no credible physical evidence that linked Mahdi to the crimes. There were significant issues with the evidence used to convict Mahdi, including police ignoring evidence that could actually prove Mahdi's innocence. These issues include, number 1, there was only 1 tiny drop of contaminated blood DNA. Only 1 drop of blood was allegedly found inside a cuff of a pair of jeans in Mahdi's apartment, but nowhere else, including the supposed getaway car, on any other clothing, or anywhere else for that matter. We've since learned that the drop of blood that was found is contaminated with the DNA of one of the victims, a state investigator, and at least 2 other people, including Mahdi Ali's. We've also since learned that that DNA was located on a portion of the pants that would have been covered by the jackets. As you can see in the security camera footage of the shootings, the shooter was wearing a long jacket. Supposedly, the single drop of blood that was found was on the top of a pants on the inside of a pocket which would have been well covered by the jacket. We believe that evidence was planted. Mahdi believed that his charges were close to being dismissed due to a lack of physical evidence until the cops discovered the bloodstain, months after the murders. He believes the evidence is planted. Number 2. There is no evidence found in the alleged getaway vehicle. Despite its alleged use as the getaway vehicle in the crimes, the owner of the car Mahdi was driving the day of the murders stated that he got his car back 1 week after the murders. Police did not find any evidence inside the vehicle linking it to the crimes. Number 3. The height discrepancy between Mahdi and the other suspects was ignored in court. Mahdi Ali was listed in the police report as 5 feet 8 inches tall when the killings took place. Ahmed was listed as 6 feet 1 inches, nearly a half a foot taller, which is visible in the images on the left when the teens were together earlier that day in the impound lot. However, from the surveillance camera footage of the actual murders at the Seward Market, you can notice that there is not a drastic height difference seen between the killer and the accomplice. This leads us to believe that the people shown in the 2 videos are not the same set of people. Target Corporation assisted with the framing of Mahdi Ali. For more than 2 decades, Target Corporation has assisted law enforcement with criminal investigations, pro bono, including testifying at trials on behalf of the state. 2 Target forensic specialists testified as expert witnesses against Mahdi at his trial. One specialist, who went on to work for the FBI, stated that Mahdi's height was close to the height of the killer in the video, yet he admitted under cross-examination that he could not rule out Mahdi nor Abdisalan Ali as being the killer, although there was nearly a half a foot height difference between the teens at the time. A second Target forensic specialist testified that the jeans police seized from Mahdi's apartment after the killings appeared to be similar to the jeans worn by the killer in the surveillance video. However, he admitted that he cannot even determine the color of the jeans from the video, only if they are light or dark jeans. Mahdi's supporters say Target's testimony was based on junk science. For decades now, Target Corporation has been targeting black youth in Minneapolis. Target has set the parameters for law enforcement in Minneapolis by funding the police, the city attorney's office, and the Hennepin County attorney's office. In 2004, Target launched the Safe Zone initiative, a public-private partnership between downtown business owners and law enforcement that increased surveillance on every single resident and non-resident in downtown Minneapolis. Target's Safe Zone policies have driven black youth incarceration in Minneapolis. Safe Zone cameras help police track and evict, quote, undesired elements from downtown by establishing a massive surveillance network. Quoting here Nathan K. Garvis, a former vice president of government affairs for Target, from the Washington Post article in 2006, quote, in many ways, Target is actually a high-tech company masquerading as a retailer. You can learn more about Target's role in Unicorn Riot's 12-part series, 21st Century Jim Crow in the North Star City. Aided by that additional funding that Target Corporation provided, as Hennepin County Attorney Mike Freeman and Amy Klobuchar oversaw a nearly 600% increase in black boys and men sent to Minnesota state prisons from Hennepin County. During her tenure as Hennepin County Attorney, Amy Klobuchar stated on the record that Target funded the Hennepin County Attorney's Office on the basis that they produce convictions, not truth, justice, or public safety. Convictions. Quoting from an Amy Klobuchar quote from 2006 during her second term as Hennepin County Attorney before she became a U.S. Senator. Quote, there were huge strings attached. They don't just give us money, they demand accountability. The she's referring to there is Target. Quote, in the past, the DA's office tracked input numbers, how many criminals were charged, though once we were working with Target, we were required to track output numbers, or how many convictions we get in a year. Judge Peter Cahill's history has many cases that are similar to Mahdi Ali's. A decade before Peter Cahill was the famous TV judge for the Derek Chauvin murder trial, he presided over Mahdi's trial, where he demonstrated bias in favor of the state, yet never disclosed that he previously worked for the Target-funded Hennepin County Attorney's Office as the number 2 under Amy Klobuchar. Judge Cahill allowed the state to use controversial dental forensics to determine that Mahdi was 17, which allowed them to try him as an adult, and Judge Cahill rejected Mahdi's Kenyan birth certificate, which confirmed he was actually 15 when the murders occurred. Despite the Supreme Court ruling that it's unconstitutional to give juveniles life without parole, Judge Cahill gave Mahdi 3 consecutive 30-year sentences, which is the functional equivalent of life without parole. In a recent interview for the 5-year anniversary of George Floyd's murder, Cahill admitted he has a bias for law enforcement. Quote, "Part of my training is to check my bias. And to be honest, I think I have a pro-police bias." That's in a 2025 Star Tribune interview. In addition to the flaws in the investigation, we believe that the MPD investigation lacked integrity. Minneapolis Police Department's investigation into the killings failed in key ways. A video showed that Mahdi was at a different location when the murders occurred, and this video was never collected. Key suspect Abdisalan Ali was never seriously investigated. There is no public record of police or investigators asking Abdisalan if he committed the crimes, yet he was absolved. The prime suspect's family is also connected to the police. Abdisalan Ali told detectives during his first interview, while being questioned about murders, that he wanted to be a cop, and it has since been confirmed that his brother Abdirahman Ali was recruited and joined the Minneapolis Police Department shortly after Mahdi was convicted and sentenced to life in prison. Several community members have endorsed Mahdi's call for freedom and a new investigation into his case. One of them is former Ward 2 City Council member Cam Gordon. Quote, "I was the neighborhood city council member at the time of the tragic triple murder at the Seward Market on January 6, 2010, one of the most horrific and sad events that has ever occurred in my neighborhood. I remember well the outrage, fear, and activism that followed the violent deaths. I also recall the pressure on local officials, including me, to help hold those responsible accountable and the relief many felt after the trial and conviction of Mahdi Ali, who was a teen and a high school student in Minneapolis public schools at the time. Many of us, myself included, hoped and assumed that justice had prevailed when Mahdi Ali was convicted and sentenced to life, but now I believe we may have gotten it wrong. Serious, legitimate questions are being raised about the investigation. In 2021, the accomplice in the crimes and the state's key witness said he lied to the police, and Mahdi is really innocent. As painful as it might be to open these wounds again, I believe that a new trial is needed. Our local, county, and state criminal justice officials need to give it their most serious and careful consideration. Again, I'm quoting here from Cam Gordon, former city council member, Ward 2. Mahdi Ali's case has gained the attention of the national Target boycott organizers. In early 2025, Minneapolis activists launched a nationwide boycott of Target Corporation outside its global headquarters for ending its DEI initiative. The boycott's organizers, Nakima Levy-Armstrong, Monique Cullors-Doty, and Jaylani Hussein, now stand by Mahdi Ali's innocence and have demanded his immediate release from prison. Quoting Nakima Levy-Armstrong here in a June 10, 2025 press conference with the coalition outside of the Hennepin County Government Center, the CEO of Target and their board and their shareholders need to get behind this initiative and do right by Mahdi Ali, as well as the other victims that they help bring into the criminal justice system, not just through funding, but through demanding convictions. Mahdi Ali needs your help. You can get involved in the campaign to free Mahdi Ali. Mahdi asks that you please sign and share his petition calling for his freedom. You can also get involved with the campaign directly on our website, www.freemahdiali.com. Mahdi leaves you with a quote here. Quote, "Fight for me. I would urge you guys to invest in me and invest in me more than just today. I want to come home and make sure that this doesn't happen to another kid in our community." End quote.